morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, Dawg Knight. And yes, Maddie, I look a little sleepy, but that's okay. Didn't sleep really well last night, but you are the first one in the chat today. And so far, no one else has shown their face, but might be because Monkey in the Morning is still going on. But we'll see what happens when they end up or finish up over there. Anyway, today I learned yesterday. Good morning, Richo. I learned yesterday that a friend of mine, his father passed away. And it's my friend Brad from high school. And I had some memories. When we were growing up and when I was in high school, we had a group of friends that always hung out at my friend Brad's house. And his father, Dennis, real nice guy, Dr. Dennis Emanuel. Basically, he treated us like we were his other kids. We'd come over there and he'd just be like, "Hey guys, come on in. Yeah, Brad's downstairs. Can I get you anything? Blah blah blah." And just real great guy. And he and even when I was an usher at Brad's wedding, and I remember during my this is one of my best friends at his wedding, and I swear I stood at the bar drinking scotch with his dad for probably a 45-minute stretch, just talking about things going on because I hadn't seen him in a while, and he just was so interested in what was going on in my life, and we just sitting there chatting away, and then finally his wife comes up to us and he goes, "I've been looking for you, right?" And he said, he said, I've been right here. And she looks at me and looks at him and he goes, "Oh, okay, she got it." But anyway, so last night I did a little video for my friend Brad on Facebook and just did a toast to Dr. Dennis Emanuel, which I'll toast to him now with my daily cup of coffee. Yes, the reparations coffee. So today I'm thinking about Mr. Emanuel. Anyway, today's show is going to be a lot about Mueller, and Russia, and I picked out a handful of articles that you're going to decide that you're not necessarily going to hear from the mainstream, the bulk of media, and so we're going to get into that soon. So let's get it started. It's the Morning Night Live. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. The music. Okay, guys. Hey, how's it going today? Well, today, like I said, we're going to talk a lot. I have a bunch of articles I pulled up regarding the Mueller investigation, some of the aftermath, and just some of the things that are happening. Now, some of this stuff you may have heard, and some you may have not, and some of the stuff I have are from sources that you might not necessarily normally look for things, but it's really all the kind of the conservative side of the things. If you watch any of the mainstream media, and I mean NBC, MSNBC, CBS, CNN, Fox. Well, maybe on Fox you might hear some of the stuff, but some of the stuff you may not. So it'll be interesting. Hey, good morning. By the way, I'm going to say good morning to some of the people just falling into place. Good morning, Jaeger Pony. Good morning. And I already said good morning to Maddie. By the way, Maddie was first this morning. Good morning, Maddie, again. C. Thomas, Corbin, a Gulf City peasant. Sarah, good morning. I remember to say hello to you this morning because I was looking at it and I was waiting. I've been waiting just to look for that little wrench to pop up there. So good morning, Sarah. And let's see. I think, they're still going over there, but that's okay. Oh, that's funny. There was some things over here. Anyway, I'm going to get away from the usual stuff. Oh, no, that's okay, Sarah. I was watching Monkey 2 just before I went live here, and I was maybe going to simulcast, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to do my thing, And if anyone wants to pop over there from after he's done, that's cool. They can always catch up on the old, what you call it, the rebroadcast, so to speak, the YouTube video when this turns into from a live show to a video show. So they can figure that anyway. Anyway, so I'm gonna get into it. Let's see here. There's a if you don't remember, the Elijah Cummings, who's at the head of the Judicial Committee, House Oversight Committee, they subpoenaed a bunch of records of Trump's businesses. Now, this is interesting because if you think about it, none of this Russia probe had anything to do with his businesses. But I think what they're trying to do is to just dig into his rear hind parts, and they are desperate to find something that they can use against him. So now Trump's team, in response, Trump sues top Democrat to block a subpoena for his financial records. President Donald Trump is suing a top Democrat in order to block a subpoena that demands an accounting firm hand over the president's financial records to Congress. The lawsuit filed in D.C. federal court Monday by Trump's legal team referred to the subpoena as a weapon in a political war being waged against the president by Democrats. House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings and Chief Investigative Counsel Peter Kenny are named as defendants in the suit, according to CNBC. The Oversight Committee last week issued subpoenas to Mazars, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, an accounting firm that is in possession of at least several years of Trump's financial information. The subpoena demands documentation related to a multitude of Trump holdings, including the Trump Organization, the Trump Corporation, the Trump Foundation, and the Trump International Hotel. Now, Cummings indicated that that the Oversight Committee is seeking the financial information in relation to Michael Cohen's congressional testimony, in which the former Trump lawyer claimed the president routinely inflated his assets to benefit his business ventures. So this is one of those things. Is there, first of all, if there's claiming there's a crime, that is for financial regulators, for law enforcement to take care of, but there's no claim of that. Although Trump's lawyer responds, lawyers William Consovoy and Stephen Passantino said in a statement that the subpoena will obtain years worth of confidential information from their accountant. In a statement that the subpoena to obtain years of worth of confidential information from their accountant lacks any legitimate legislative purpose, is an abuse of power, and is just another example of overreach by the president's political opponents. Yeah, why? Well, in the question, Manny, would that be something for the SEC, not Congress? Well, this isn't even looking at the Security and Exchange Commission probably be overseeing more of any sort of trading of if there were, say, Trump stock or things like that. This is just strictly looking into his businesses. Now, I know the state of New York the Attorney General of the state of New York is also doing something like this, but I think what's happening there is there's no accusation of a crime. And so apparently this is something they're trying to, Congress is just trying to find something. They are desperate because they've leaned on the Russia thing for so long. And now that it's just, it's fallen apart. It really has. They're still going through that Mueller report trying to say, okay, there was these contacts and these contacts. But if you look at the genesis of that whole Russia probe, it really didn't start with anything like that. Trump was trying to do business in Russia. He's a businessman. He's trying to build a hotel, and that deal fell through. The reason this thing has gone on for so long is because the Democrats didn't think Trump should have won. And we'll get into another article about that in a little bit. So anyway, so they're trying to block the subpoena for the financial records that Elijah Cummings and the Oversight Committee is looking for. The other problem with this is the Oversight Committee is, let's see, so it's the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. What part of Trump's private businesses are related to oversight and government reform? Now, the only thing I could think of is you hear the words emoluments clause thrown around a lot. Is Trump gaining gifts or benefiting financially from being the president of the United States? Because there's a lot of foreign leaders who stay in his hotels. Is that a violation of the emoluments clause? Really, that was just the emoluments clause is something that says, people in office cannot receive gifts from foreign entities. If they book things at his hotel, is that against the emoluments clause? So that's a whole nother thing too. So anyway, the next article is also from the Daily Caller. House Democrats subpoena Don McGahn over docs related to charges that Trump obstructed justice. Good morning, Lord Rothschild. Good morning, Norman. Norman Keena also popping in. And who else has shown up? Seamus. I don't think I said good morning to you, but if I did, I'm saying it again. I could do that. It's my show. You'll notice I'm not as animated today. I'm a little melancholy. Just a very good friend of mine's dad passed away, and so we're going to celebrate his life this weekend. I'm still going to be broadcasting from the Drake Relays on Friday, but anyway, I'm kind of chill today. House doing? They subpoenaed Don McGahn. Now, New York Representative Jerry Nadler, who's he's a chairman. There's 4 committees that are just going to spend their time trying to put a microscope up Trump's butthole. Why does Norman's messages keep getting retracted? Oh, retracted, not okay. Well, good morning anyway, Norman. I see you keep putting things up and then retracting them. Democratic New York Representative Jerry Nadler issued a subpoena Monday that orders former White House counsel Don McGahn to testify before the House Judiciary Committee over documents related to charges that President Donald Trump obstructed justice. I still find this humor that what was that thing? Hang on, I just thought of something. So this was all about, this whole thing was about whether the Russians, Donald Trump's campaign, had some sort of deal with the Russians to collude to steal the election from Hillary Clinton. That was this whole Rush thing. Was there collusion? Was there a conspiracy? Did the campaign coordinate with a foreign government to steal documents and do all this stuff? And now, where's my favorite picture? I have a favorite picture just for this scenario, and I can't seem to find it. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, damn. What did I do with that? Did I put it on the desktop? Hang on. Oh, don't tell me I lost it. Oh, well. I was going to put up my goalpost moving picture because they are still moving the goalpost. Now it's all about obstruction. So anyway, the special counsel's report, even in redacted form, outlined substantial evidence that President Trump engaged in obstruction and other abuses, Nadler said in a statement, calling McGahn a critical witness to many of the alleged instances of obstruction of justice and other misconduct described in the Mueller report. Nadler added his testimony would help shed further light on the president's attacks on the rule of law. Oh, man. Do I sound quiet? Oh, maybe. If I may sound, I wonder if I turn my. Oh, you know what? I did turn this down. Hey, is that a little better? Can you hear me a little better now? Maybe I'll just go closer to the microphone. He's a bit quiet. Yeah. Oh well, just turned up my speakers. All good. Well, I'm gonna talk a little louder. That's on me. And you know what else? If I'm gonna talk louder, we're also gonna just. I need to brighten this up. I need to brighten it up. And we need that'll wake me up. Here we go. Oh, that's not very loud. Oh, that's because I turned my volume down. Turn your volume up for a minute. Turn it up. All right. I'm feeling it now. I'm going to get louder and louder and louder. That's all it took was a little of the funk. Turn that up. Come on. All right. Now, is that a little better? Can you hear me now, Sarah? I decided that I need to wake my tired ass up. I just need another sip of the reparations coffee. All right, y'all ready to get back into it? Here we go. I'm ready now. Back to the article. So here's the thing. McGahn is the first former White House employee to be subpoenaed after the Justice Department published the special counsel Robert Mueller's report into Russian intervention. Nadler, who chairs the committee, also issued a subpoena for Mueller's report absent redactions. Now, that probably is not going to happen. The redactions are, by law, they have to redact the grand jury testimony. Now, I don't know if you might have to have special security clearances or whatever. But anyway, Mueller was unable to establish that the Trump campaign conspired or colluded with the Russian government to influence the 2016 election. He also declined to issue additional indictments prior to ending his nearly 2-year-long investigation. Mueller obtained 34 indictments or guilty pleas during the 22-month probe, but none for election-related conspiracies involving Trump associates. Now see, this is one area where I think the Daily Caller can be more accurate than most of the other mainstream media, because they will tell you they'll have that little sentence at the end, but none for election-related conspiracies involving Trump associates. That is true, but a lot of people love to throw around the fact that there were 34 indictments. Well, remember, 12 of them were Russian generals or people who are never, ever, ever going to go trial, and the Mueller team knows that. A bunch of them are the people from that internet research agency, which none of them are going to go to trial, and Mueller knows that. So if the collusion doesn't fit, you must acquit. Well, we're not even going to go to trial because they're not doing anything. So there you go. Next article. Now, if you're not familiar with Mark Levin, he's a radio talk show host, and he has a show on Fox News. Levin, senior levels of the FBI, these individuals should be charged for their role in Russiagate. On Sunday night's episode of Life, Liberty, and Levin TV host Mark Levin picked apart the Mueller report and the actions and investigations that led to its creation in the first place, calling it the greatest scandal in American history. Levin explained that the second volume of the prosecutor's report appears to have been written as a roadmap for House Democrats' impeachment efforts. The Mueller team wrote for the Democrats in the House of Representatives. This is an impeachment report, Levin said. This is an abuse of power by a prosecutor. These are things that have been done. There are things that have been done in the last 3 years to a candidate Trump, President-elect Trump, and President Trump that should not occur in the United States of America, the host said. Senior levels of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, these individuals should be charged, Levin continued. They're the ones who interfered with our election, even more effectively than the Russians, and they are still at it. If you haven't seen his Sidewinder on this, it's about 14 minutes long, so we're not going to play it here today. But you got to go here. I'll put this link in the chat. You can bookmark that for later. It's pretty fascinating. There you go. There's that one. All right. Next, we have the American Spectator's view. The Tom Perez hypocrisy. Nobody is above the law except for Hillary. Now, something fascinating. Let's take a parallel of two investigations, okay? So there was an investigation into, just before the election, into the server that Hillary Clinton kept in her house. And a lot of people get mad at people who bring up Hillary, especially, if they're Democrats or on the left. They get mad. What does it matter that Hillary did this? You're all complaining about her emails. Her emails. You know what? It's not about the emails. It's not. It's about classified information stored outside of government-controlled facilities. I say this often, it is not an email scandal. It's a classified information scandal. And when James Comey, came out before the election, a few weeks before the election, and laid out the information that he had found, he actually said that Hillary Clinton broke the law. She had several, and they're finding more and more. She had a whole bunch of different classified information on her email server that should not have been there. There was also classified information that her assistant somehow was able to get onto Anthony Weiner's laptop, because it's her husband whom Abdi and Anthony Weiner are married. There was classified information on his laptop. In fact, it was the same laptop that he was sending dick pics to his little friends on the internet that he went to prison for. So you got classified information on a laptop owned by I don't want to say he's a pedophile, because he may not have known the girls are underage, but he still went to jail. Yeah, he did. Well, he must have, because he went to jail for it. So Comey said that the classified information were in those places where they were not supposed to be. But his explanation for not prosecuting is, well, she didn't know it wasn't supposed to be there. She didn't know. Really? Hey, officer, I'm sorry I was going 85 in a 55 mile an hour zone. I didn't know the speed limit was 55. What? Are you kidding me? So we have this article, Tom Perez. You just have to love the boldness of it all. There is Democratic National Chairman Tom Perez on Fox News, no less, saying this. Tom Perez: no one, not even President Trump, is above the law following Mueller report revelations. Says Mr. Perez, history will not be kind to this president, nor will it forget the cowards and criminals who enabled him. But history will also remember the courage of those who stood for the rule of law and the integrity of our democracy. It will remember leaders who put country over party, activists who march and make their voices heard, and voters who use the power of the ballot box to hold this administration accountable. Justice is blind, and no one is above the law. Catch that last sentence. This one. Justice is blind, and no one is above the law. Right. Let's take a stroll down memory lane, beginning with this headline from Roll Call in September 2015. Cornyn, DOJ should assign special counsel to Clinton emails. The number 2 Republican in the Senate wants a special prosecutor to investigate Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State. Senator John Cornyn, Republican Texas, a senior member of the Judiciary Committee, entered the fray over the emails Tuesday in a letter to Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Secretary Clinton denied publicly that she transmitted classified information and violated government policy, both of which proved untrue. Secretary Clinton's lawyers made their own determinations as to which of the emails on her server were government records and deleted the remainder. How does she get away? That's the one thing. You talk about obstruction of justice. You delete potential evidence and deleted the remainder. Tens of thousands of documents. Cornyn wrote Tuesday, and the former campaign staffer who set up the server, who would subsequently be employed by both the State Department and Secretary Clinton privately, has invoked the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution to avoid providing information to government investigators. You know, does that sound like it's obstruction of justice to you? You have a subpoena for the records on a server in which you're not doing government business, even though you're not supposed to be. And yet, you just, we're just going to decide which is what not the government's going to see, and we're going to delete the rest. Then there was this headline in the Washington Post in July 2016. GOP Congress calls for new independent counsel to probe Clinton again. Reads the story. Representative Mike Turner, Ohio, became the first Republican to call for a new independent investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of. I wish these articles. No, they all talking about the email. They're not talking about the classified information, and that's why it almost sounds silly. Oh, you want me to give up my Gmail account? No, we want to know why you have top secret special access programming on a server that didn't have any security for 6 months. That's what they were talking about. Again, any person who's in the military knows what happens if you have classified information outside of the government secured facilities and or servers. You go to jail, okay? A couple people showed up. Good morning, his kitten. Good morning, Necro, and a few other people popping in. Hey, how you doing? Welcome from the monkey, because I saw some of y'all over there. I was over there too. Anyway, all right, back to this. Independent investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of email during her years at the State Department, saying in a statement that the defunct independent counsel statute should be revived to make an independent and impartial decision about whether Clinton should be charged. Yeah, this never left the Justice Department, which was headed by Loretta Lynch, who just happened to meet in the Phoenix airport when her and with what's his name? Oh yeah, Bill Clinton. They met on an airport on the tarmac and had a conversation. Gee, they said it just looks bad, but they were just talking about, grandchildren and Brexit. Yeah, I'm sure that's all it was. The role of the special counsel is to keep investigations honest and prosecutorial, you know what I'm trying to say, decisions independent of the political, personal, and financial conflicts of interest that undermine the accountability in government. It is time for Secretary Clinton to be held accountable for her extremely careless actions. Not an hour later, Representative Matt Solomon, Arizona, who is retiring this year, made a similar request. I'll feel you later. Headline at CNBC. House Republicans call for a special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton, Comey, and Lynch. Then there was a headline later. Congress, I'm just skipping them now because Congressman called for special counsel in the Clinton probe. Move on to just last month. Special counsel demanded for probe FBI handling of Hillary probe. There's plenty of stories like that. They stretch out over the last 4 years. Oh, so much more. And what do every single one of them have in common? That would be the silence of now DNC Chair Tom Perez, the very same Tom Perez who now goes on Fox and ostentatiously proclaimed, history will not be kind to this president, nor will it forget the cowards and criminals who enabled him. But history will also remember the courage of those who stood for the rule of law and integrity of our democracy. It will remember leaders who put country over party, activists who march and make their voices heard, and voters who use the power of the ballot box to hold this administration accountable. Justice is blind, and no one is above the law. Really, Tom Perez? There's one person who is there's two. The first one who is above the law, apparently, is former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And the second one, Jussie Smollett. Anyway, yeah, just the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy, folks. Here's another one. Now, this is what I keep saying, too. I'm asking for somebody in the government, especially related to the Mueller team. I hope somebody asks him this when Mueller testifies before Congress. What was the quantitative effect of the so-called Russian meddling? Because everyone seems to agree that the Russians attempted to interfere in our elections. What were their results? What were the results? Did they change any votes? Now, this is Democratic Representative Stephen Lynch. Whatever interference that the Russians brought did not change votes. Commenting on the Mueller report on Fox News, Cavuto Live, on Saturday, Representative Stephen Lynch of Massachusetts said that whatever interference the Russians brought did not change votes in the 2016 presidential election. I don't think the outcome was influenced, Representative Lynch told host Neil Cavuto. Cavuto asked Lynch if he is now ready to acknowledge that President Donald Trump was elected legitimately. Lynch's response: I've talked to many of your Democratic colleagues. This is Cavuto. I've talked to many of your different colleagues. I'll ask you as well. Do you think now, with this Mueller report out of the way, and I know there's still some issues to address, to your point, that Donald Trump was the duly legitimately elected president of the United States? I believe whatever interference that the Russians brought did not change votes. I believe that, Lynch responded. So I don't think that the outcome was influenced at the end of the day. But we're going to have the Dems to focus on the 2020 elections. Let's just watch this. I instead of having to read it, let's just watch it.
Finally, sir, I've talked to many of your Democratic colleagues, and I'll ask you as well. Do you think now, with this Mueller report out of the way, I know there's some issues still to address, to your point, that Donald Trump was the duly, legitimately elected president of the United States?
I believe that whatever interference that the Russians brought did not change votes. I believe that. So I don't think the outcome was influenced at the end of the day. But we're going to have another election in 2020, and I would like to see us have all of the resiliency and protections for that process so that we don't end up back in the same spot with foreign interference, whether it's North Korea or Russia or China hacking the elections again.
So now that's one congressman. Nothing in the report suggests that the Russian interference changed the election. So I'm just really confused as to, you see it a lot on Twitter, people saying, well, Trump stole the election and had Russian help, and the Russians installed Trump and all that stuff. And I'm like, nobody's saying that. Nobody in the government's saying that. Nobody in the FBI is saying that. Huh? Anyone in the FBI saying that right now? No, they're not. So that's dumb. Now, this is funny because this is kind of just another article about how now I'm skeptical of this article a little bit, just because they make some claims in here that are in the report, but there's no documentation in the report. Also, the fact that some of these servers and things that they're talking about in this article have still, to this day, never been examined by the FBI. In fact, all of Hillary's stuff has been destroyed. They destroyed everything they could. Now, there's two companies that were backing up all of Hillary's stuff, and we're still not sure. You probably don't hear about them much. One's called Dado Inc., and one is called Platte River. Music's too loud? Oh, is the music too loud, or I'm just too soft? That's hard to tell. Tell you what, I don't know when. Let's see. All right, we'll try to fix that. Or I could just talk loud. It's a bit loud. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I gotta learn how. It's very touchy. We'll just do that. We'll just turn it down. It'll be very faint now, but that's okay. All right. But this is how. So let's just say that you want to elect somebody as president of the United States, and you want them to be careful with the secrets of your country and of the things that are your country holds dear, and strategy and military personnel and your spy networks and things like that. And you want to keep them secure. Would you hire this group of Keystone cops? The GRU, which is the Russian agency, spearphishing emails fooled Democrats' Clinton campaign in 2016. Now, I know this is how Podesta's emails got stolen. He responded to a spearphishing campaign, which you'll hear about here. Podesta Clinton aides clicked on bad links, triggering massive email and document theft. Russia's GRU, Military Intelligence Service, used fraudulent emails to gain access to large amounts of sensitive emails and documents that were disseminated via covert GRU websites during the 2016 presidential election campaign influence operation, according to a report by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Now, like I said, I'm skeptical about a lot of this part of the thing because there are a lot of security experts out there that's saying, nah, that probably is not how it happened. Some of them, maybe, but not all of them. Anyway, two GRU intelligence units worked together in the spring of 2016 to first identify email servers of Democratic staff members' Gmail accounts. And then a special cyber unit sent spearphishing emails that produced the implantation of special software inside the Democratic computer networks. There's other parts about this that it just makes no sense. Why? And this is so weird. Why? Let's say you're in a foreign country and you're trying to influence election campaigns or trying to influence an election. I don't know why you would try to get into the Democratic National Committee's servers. What good would that do you? I mean, if you're so sophisticated, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, Mueller report provided new details of the cyber attacks carried out by two numbered GRU units, Military Unit 74455, in charge of influence and disinformation operations, and Military Unit 26165, the main cyber attack group. The GRU spearphishing operation enabled it to gain access to numerous email accounts of Clinton campaign employees and volunteers, including campaign chairman John Podesta, junior volunteers assigned to the Clinton campaign's advanced team, informal Clinton campaign advisors, and a DNC employee, the report said. GRU officers stole tens of thousands of emails from spearphishing victims, including various Clinton campaign-related communications. During the operation, hundreds of email accounts used by the Clinton campaign employees, advisors, and volunteers were targeted, and in total, GRU obtained hundreds of thousands of documents from the compromised email accounts and networks. So, how is it that the DNC doesn't seem to have just cybersecurity protocols that go along with their servers, or it's been said, because some of this stuff, especially the DNC stuff, a lot of the security experts, and the one I bring up the most is Bill Binney, because he used to be the top computers crime analyst with the FBI. He still says to this day that there's no way that could have been hacked. It would had to have been a download based on the speeds that they took. So did somebody on the inside get into the DNC? I don't know, but so anyway, but they want to be in charge, but they still fall for a spear phishing attack. You know, why? What was it? What was John Podesta looking at? What was the email that said, "Mr. Podesta, we need you to give us your email password"? I don't know, man. I don't trust these people. I don't trust these people at all. And especially, okay, so here's the thing. This says for the DCCC, which is Democratic Congressional Campaign something. What is it? Let's see. The GRU hacked its network around April 12, 2016, using credentials stolen from a DCC employee who was spearphished a week earlier. The report reveals that cybersecurity was so poor for the Democrats that the GRU hackers operated unimpeded for 8 weeks, and operations only ended once the DNC announced in June that its network had been hacked. In the weeks after the hack, the GRU operatives obtained login credentials of network administrators with unrestricted access to the systems. And as a result, spies were inside about 29 different computers on the DCC network. DCCC, 3 C's, network. It's faithless. Yeah, you know, it's hard. You know, if you bring up Seth Rich, you're bringing up a conspiracy. Yeah, man. Someone who gets shot in the back and doesn't get anything stolen. Just another one of those. It's one of those famous. The Clinton trail of bodies. There's just a weird trail of bodies, and that's conspiracy theory too. So I'm not going to talk about it, but for fear of getting kicked off of YouTube, anyway. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That it tells me that I don't want anyone on that DNC staff working for me. Okay, and I just have a laptop in my dining room here. So anyway, okay, holidays. Okay, we're gonna skip that one. That was just a funny one. And then we have this one. Old conspiracy theories never die. Now this is it's not that long, so we'll probably go through this whole one. Now that the whole Russian collusion conspiracy theory, guzzled up by the deep state Clinton campaign, fake media communities, has proved to have been much ado about nothing, there is a question about what to do, what comes next. What do all the believers do now that their fantasy lies in ruin? This is a very sarcastic article. The answer is obvious and is practiced by all millennial cults prophesizing the end of the world. You loudly announce that nothing has changed, you patch up the prophecies, and you declare that the world is still going to come to an end, only a bit later than previously forecast. There is a temptation for all of us deplorables to hope that the whole Trump-Russia collusion thing will go away, and the fools and names that promoted it will say, "My bad," and we can go back to business as usual in America. But they won't. That is not how cults work. It is not how politics work. It is not how any human community works. The reason is simple. We humans construct our narratives of meaning out of selective reading of the facts. This is not scandalous. It is how all living things operate. We select what we believe to be the salient signal out of an ocean of noise and proceed to use those selected signals as proxy for reality. until some salient fact that we had dismissed hits us over the head. As usual, my pal Nietzsche nails it. One takes a group of phenomenon as one takes a group of phenomenon as one and calls it a fact. In reality, however, all our doing and knowing is not a succession of facts and empty spaces, but a continuous flux. We are continuously misled into imaging things as being simpler than they are. So, our CNN, MSNBC, Democratic pals can take a few words out of the Mueller report and say, see? Obstruction of justice. Onward to impeachment. There is nothing remarkable in this. It's the way that kings down the ages have rallied their troops. Once more unto the breach, dear friends. And so, what if they fill up the breach with their wokish dead? The show must go on. But what happens in real life is the continuous flux of life is that if the glorious vision does not get you to the promised land, the level of enthusiasm starts to flag. People start flailing away from the movement. Just like the old saying, old soldiers never die, they merely fade away. So the true believers won't ever acknowledge the facts that we deplorables have isolated from the continuous flux of the last 3 years. They will never confront the fact that the intelligence community in the Obama administration spied on the Trump campaign and tried to compromise its operatives with Russian collusion bait. They will never confront the final truth about Hillary Clinton, the shame of her decision to gussy up a conspiracy theory to excuse her election loss. They will never see the irony that a party that has clubbed Republicans and conservatives with McCarthyism and Reds under the beds for 60 years should opt for Russian conspiracy when it lost a normal change election. They will never understand the stunning courage of President Trump to outdare the overwhelming forces, really the whole ruling class in all its glory, arrayed against him and his presidency. They will never understand the monstrous abandonment of century-old standards about due process and the presumption of innocence, not to mention the glorious talk about unreasonable search and seizure. But as the days and weeks and months pass, more and more adherents to the Trump-Russian collusion cult will fade away. They won't realize that they are demoralized by the failure of their hopes, and they certainly will not admit to the facts of the case. And they will certainly never come within a million miles of understanding that the Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy is worse than Watergate, says Carl Natura, American Greatness. But the Democrats' hypocrisy is striking because it is laced with a myopic imprudence that lacks a fundamental understanding of why our system of government is set up the way it is. They venerate the Supreme Court as an arbiter of morality, not as an arbiter of law. They view the Electoral College and the disproportionate representation of the Senate as an impediment to democracy, not as a check of smaller states on larger ones. And they view impeachment as a way to reverse a political decision they didn't like, not as a last resort against a truly despotic leader. See you, Maddie. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Says he, politics exists to settle issues without having to resort to violence. That is what Supreme Courts and electoral colleges and impeachments are all about. But you won't learn about that in the ruling class cult of collusion. So anyway, that's an editorial in the American Thinker. Old conspiracy theories never die. All right, I'm running a little late here, and it's time to do some Twitter trends because I can't read any more of this stuff. I just can't. That's our take. Anyway, so that's if you want to know what the right's thinking, there you go. By the way, let's see. Let's just check the old Twitter trends though. Oh, I never did do my I never sent this out, did I? I'm gonna send this out. Hey, hello, we're live on the Morning Night Live. Let's send this out. Morning Night Live is playing right now. There we go. There's the tweet. Even though it's a little late, let's view the tweet. And let's put the tweet in the chat. Copy and paste. There you go. By the way, this would be a good time for Zenny for me to shill. Excuse me. Hey guys, the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Right down here is a little arrow that says share, because even if you like this video, it won't be shared unless you physically share it. Please share the video out, and also hit the like button if you haven't done so already. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit that little bell so you get notified. I also send out notifications on Twitter. My Twitter handle right down here, Dawg Knight, right there. If you want to send me stuff, like articles or things you want me to read, or just go through and give you my take on, those you can send to my DMs at the Dawg Knight on Twitter, or you can send to my email, which is that same Dawg Knight, but just put the @ on the other side and add a Gmail to the end, because of my pdogknight@gmail.com. And then also, we do take donations and we do super chats, but not through YouTube, but through Streamlabs, which is in the description down below. Or Sarah has been so kind to put the Streamlabs link in the chat. She does that periodically for me. Thank you again, Sarah. You know, I appreciate you. No dying, Dawg. I'm not going to die. Good morning, Blind Press. How are you, my friend? Good. Nice to see you here. All right, let's get into Twitter trends. Let's see what people are going to be talking about today. This might be more fun than what I've been doing so far. You know, before this morning, I've said it many times. When I was looking at Twitter trends, almost the entire morning, apparently there is a point guard in the New York metro area that's supposed to be the second coming of Jordan, James, Bryant, and all those guys. And it was trending #1 almost the entire morning. It was kind of crazy. But apparently he's committed to go to the University of North Carolina. Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, this is a big old crow. I thought it looked like a hawk or an eagle, something in my backyard. Sorry, I got distracted there. Anyway, it was all morning. I thought normally basketball players, commits, whatever, tend to trend for a couple minutes, but this guy was #1 all morning. Now he's dropped to #3. But anyway, let's get into Twitter trends. Yes, I can speak. Today, right now, #1, Lemonade. You know, Beyonce's Lemonade album, I thought it came out a long time ago, but apparently now the fans of Beyonce, take it easy, C. Thomas. Later, Corbin, have a good day. I'll probably run into you later this afternoon, someone else's stream, like I usually do. Beyonce fans are celebrating as Lemonade finally arrives on all streaming platforms. Apparently it wasn't on all streaming platforms before, but you know what? Beyonce and Jay-Z need the money, so now they're putting it on all streaming platforms. And you know, my thoughts on Beyonce. She's all right. I'm not a fan. I'm not a detractor. She's a fine young individual and has plenty of talent. Just I've been there with the divas, whatnot. She's not Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston in her prime? She ain't Whitney Houston. She might not. Well, I was gonna say Celine Dion. Anyway, she's one of many very talented singers throughout the ages. All right, so enough of that. And I don't care. That's the bigger point. Lemonade's on trending because it's on all platforms now. Don't care. I just don't care. I wish I cared more, but I don't. #2, Tuesday Thoughts, as opposed to Tuesday Thoughts. The #1 is from the National Library of Scotland. This is Samwell. Sam reads books, cures fictional diseases, and proves snow genealogy. Sam proves that the mind is mightier than wildfire. Sam uses libraries. be like Sam. That's the National Library of Scotland putting on their Tuesday Thought. And that's, you know what? I think people don't read enough anymore. I gotta go buy a couple books. I haven't read a book in a while. Thanks for reminding me, Sam, and the National Library of Scotland. But I think I'll just go buy one because there's a couple of books I want to buy. Anyway, Donnie Wahlberg, former member of New Kids on the Block. It's Tuesday. Woo-hoo. Donnie Wahlberg, also of the Wahlberg family, Wahlburgers Restaurants, and what's that show he's on? Isn't he on Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck? I think he's on that show too. He's become a pretty good actor, and he obviously was one of those teen boy band idols back in the day as part of New Kids on the Block. So Donnie Wahlberg, yay. Tuesday thought. Any really good Tuesday thoughts? This is people will quit on you. You got to get up every day and make sure you never quit on yourself. All right, I think that's a good Tuesday thought to end Tuesday Thoughts on, as opposed to Tuesday Thoughts. Number 3, Cole Anthony. That's the kid I was telling you about. Top guard in the nation. Cole Anthony is committed to the University of North Carolina. Okay. Cole Anthony is one of just 3 point guards ranked in the top 3 of his class in the history of the ESPN 100. The others were Brandon Jennings in 2008 and Kyrie Irving, number 2 in 2010. Okay. If you follow high school basketball and recruits to certain schools, North Carolina's going to get a good one, apparently. It's good for them. Tuesday Motivation will skip. What's the DV pit? Let's see. It is fitting that my book release is the same day as DV Pit, as I wouldn't be here without it or Beth Phelan. It certainly wouldn't have a whole shelf of the Tiger at Midnight books to remind me that dreams are possible. So incredibly grateful for all the love and support. So what is, anyone know what the DV Pit is? Because I don't know. I'm apparently the DV Pit children's and YA books starts now. Today's pitch event runs until 8 p.m. Apparently the DV Pit is something to do with children's books. I have no idea. You would, Rich? I don't know. Okay, so it's seems to be some sort of kind of mystery book. Okay, I don't know. Any of you know what the DV Pit is? Tell me in the chat. Morning Psycho. Oh gosh. Again, what do we find every single day in the top 10? Trump tweets something, and it trends in the top 10. You know, I'm convinced that he does this on purpose to keep his name in front and center every day. It's kind of his MO for a long time if you think about it. It's funny. I was watching, by the way. So I'm really into boxing and MMA fighting and things like that. So I've been going through a bunch of old Mike Tyson fights lately. And yesterday I watched the highlights from the Mike Tyson Larry Holmes fight. Now, if you're not familiar with the story, Muhammad Ali, who's the 3-time world champion and some say the greatest of all time, won the championship twice after losing it to his political views the first time, and then he lost it in a fight the second time. But he regained his world championship 3 times, and one of his very last fight was against Larry Holmes, who was his former sparring partner, and eventually became a world champion himself. And so Muhammad Ali, prior to that fight, in his physical, at his doctor's appointment, he was beginning the early stages of Parkinson's disease, and they kind of hid it and let him fight anyway, which is tragic in itself. But Holmes just destroyed Muhammad Ali. They just had to stop the fight in the 8th round. It didn't even look like Muhammad Ali was there for most of the fight. I mean, he had a good first round, but then Holmes just destroyed him. Well, at the time, Mike Tyson was 15 years old, and I don't know why I still have. I'll put this back in a second. Mike Tyson was 15 years old at the time. And they were watching. He was watching the fight with his mentor Cus D'Amato. Well, after the fight, Cus D'Amato was on the phone with Muhammad Ali, and just saying, hey man, it's tough way to lose a fight, blah blah blah. Hey, I'm sitting here with this 15-year-old kid who I think is going to be a great boxer. Can you give him a couple words of encouragement? And so Muhammad Ali actually talks to Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson decides when Mike Tyson said, yeah, he was going to begin training real hard and wants to become a world champion, just like Muhammad Ali. I want to say 10 years later, maybe, when Mike Tyson had unified the title, they scheduled a fight against none other than Larry Holmes. And Larry Holmes had never been knocked out. In his career, he'd never been knocked down. He lost some fights on decisions to Michael Spinks, but he'd never been knocked out. And Mike Tyson saw that fight as a revenge for Ali's loss. And before the fight, Muhammad Ali came in the ring and he greeted both fighters, but he greeted Larry Holmes because he was the honor. Everyone was honoring Muhammad Ali because he was beloved by then, just by everywhere in the world, especially the world of boxing. He walks over to Larry Holmes, shakes his hand, good luck. Then he walks over to Mike Tyson and he whispers something in Mike Tyson's ear. And after the fight, they asked Mike Tyson, what did Muhammad Ali whisper in your ear? And he said, Mike told me to destroy him. So anyway, reason I went on this is because this has to do with Donald Trump. What does this have to do with Donald Trump? Well, that fight took place in the Trump Plaza. And you had Donald Trump, I think he was sitting next to Diana Ross during the fight. And as they're announcing the beginning of the fight, when they were going to, Michael Buffer's in the middle of the ring announcing the fighters and stuff, Donald Trump is standing in the ring. And you see, as you're looking at the ring and they show the whole ring, there it is, Trump Plaza, because Donald Trump puts his name on everything that he owns. So anyway, the idea that Donald Trump is going to do something to keep his name out there no matter what, I think his tweet strategy is probably it. So this is the Donald Trump tweet of the day that got trending on Twitter. And this is hashtag Morning Psycho. President Trump's latest target is Joe NBC, which is Joe Scarborough from the Morning Joe Show, who he referred to as, quote, Morning Psycho. The Chiron person, and this person at MSNBC actually puts it on here. The Chiron person at Morning Psycho deserves a raise immediately. Morning Psycho responds to faithful viewer. I want to see the tweet. The tweet, though. I got to see it. What did he tweet? President Trump. Oh, here it is. President Trump's at Scarborough Show helped him get elected in 2016, but has nosedived since then and become too angry, dumb, and sick. Oh my gosh. He's a jackass, but he's the best jackass. It makes me laugh every day. Oh, it just works for him. I'm sorry, it does. Let's see. Where is it? Dumb and Sick. A really bad show with low rating. Okay. Oh, here it is. Sorry to say, but Fox and Friends is by far the best of the morning political shows on television. It rightfully has by far the highest ratings, not even close. Morning Psycho, Joe, who helped get me elected in 2016 by having me on free all the time, has nosedived. Too angry, dumb, and sick. A really bad show with low ratings. And it will only get worse. CNN has been a proven and long-term ratings and beyond. CNN has been proven and long-term ratings and beyond disaster. In fact, it rewarded Chris Cuomo with a now unsuccessful prime time slot despite his massive failure in the morning. Only at CNN, only Donald Trump could write that tweet. Oh my gosh. He trolls the crap out of them, and all they do is talk shit about him all the time. And I think it's working for him. It's not working for them. Oh my gosh. Trump will surely use Twitter more in one day than all the other 70-year-olds use it in a year combined. Well, maybe not more than Skeptalk. But anyway. Oh my gosh. And just people are just, okay, I've been a firm critic of the narratives pushed on Morning Joe, but for the sitting president to personally target a media figure is outrageous. His continued attacks on the First Amendment are dangerous. No, they're not. Nothing he says prevents a single person in the media to do their job. Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, Micah, who who Hard Bastard calls Beaker and Leaker. Nothing prevents them from doing their job. He has. How does his attack? How is that attacking the First Amendment? How is that stopping them from criticizing him? I'm sorry. Does he not have First Amendment rights to let his opinion be known? How is that an attack on the First Amendment, Peter Dow? Someone explain it. Okay? They absolutely can still continue with their constant barrage against him all they want. Unlike a certain president prior to him, he didn't have anyone investigating any reporters. He didn't try to, have reporters arrested. He can say all he wants. Now it's funny. What else here? Watch the president tweet storming this morning, and Joe NBC is responding. So, okay. Hey, be glad you're noticed, Joe. I bet your ratings went up this morning. A look at Trump's media diet. Fox and Friends is the best. NBC Morning Joe is psycho. That's his. That's from the Twitter moments. Caitlin Johnson. She's an independent journalist. Leans far left, but she's anti-Russian conspiracy theory. While Morning Psycho is trending, here's a friendly reminder that Joe Scarborough once illustrated the power of the media when he turned down an easy run for the U.S. Senate because he decided he could have more influence over public policy as a TV host. Scarborough said he's also hearing from other U.S. senators who want him to run for a seat that Senator Mel Martinez announced he's leaving next year. He just needs to decide whether he could have as much influence on public policy as one of 100 senators as he does now on his MSNBC program, Morning Joe, he said. Yeah, that's a good question. It's just funny. The only Morning Psycho is the guy still rage tweeting after trying to sell us on the fact he's winning, innocent, happy, and content. Yep, because, there are people who hate Trump. That's cool. Look at the timing, dude. The actual president of the country is rage tweeting every few minutes. His indigestion must be off the charts. Doesn't he sit with Melania and ask Melania? It's Melania, you moron. And talk in the morning, have coffee together, sun streaming through the bulletproof glass. Yeah, he apparently he is having quite the tweet storm this morning. He included the radical left Democrats, together with their leaders in the fake news media, have gone totally insane. I guess that means that the Republican agenda is working. Stay tuned for more. I will be going to Green Bay, Wisconsin for a really big rally on Saturday evening. Big crowd expected, much to talk about. Make America great again. I wonder if the New York Times will apologize to me a second time, as they did after the 2016 election, but this one will have to be a far bigger and better apology. On this one, they will have to get down on their knees and beg for forgiveness. They are truly the enemy of the people. Oh, Paul Krugman of the fake news New York Times has lost all credibility as the Times itself with his false and highly inaccurate writings on me. He is obsessed with hatred, just as others are obsessed with how stupid he is. He said Marco would crash, only record highs. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th President of the United States. All right, moving on. Gemini Man is also trending. Apparently, Will Smith is going to... Oh, interesting. Will Smith is going to be facing off against Will Smith in Gemini Man. Now, this story is all about my younger clone is trying to kill me now. Oh, that should be interesting. Should we watch this trailer? Let's check out the trailer. You know, except I can't watch trailers because they always get me. What the hell? Let's check out the trailer. I'm just going to take the hit.
Is it so hard
Here
for
we
you
go.
to kill
Turn
this
this
man?
Starting over. Hang on.
Tell me something. Why is it so hard for you to kill this man?
He knew every move of mine before I made it. I'd have him right there. I'd take the shot. I wanna be forever young. And he'd be gone, like a ghost. Do you really wanna live forever? Who is he?
Okay, I kind of like the.
He is you.
I kind of like the premise.
25 years ago, they made you from me. They chose me because there's never been anybody like me. We have to end this right now. You have all of his gifts without his pain.
This is kind of a cool premise.
You made a person out of another person. Then you sent me to kill him. You made a choice to do this to me.
This thing that you're struggling with, it's fear.
You know, the CGI is just amazing how they make
Embrace
young
it
Will.
and then overcome it.
Of all the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you?
I mean, he's looking Fresh Prince. All right, that looks pretty cool. I kind of like the premise. Gemini Man's trending now. This looks like it's going to be a pretty cool movie. All right, moving on. William Shakespeare is also trending this morning. Why is Will Shakespeare? Because William Shakespeare is... Oh, it's the anniversary of William Shakespeare's death. The English poet, playwright, and actor is being commemorated on the anniversary of his death. He is also believed to have been born on the same day in 1564. Oh, so he died on his birthday. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Let's see. In 1660, English poet and dramatist William Shakespeare died in Stratford-upon-Avon on what was traditionally been regarded as the 52nd anniversary of his birth in 1564. Yeah, he's clearly the most famous English poet, playwright, writer probably you could ever think of. Anyway, so that's why Shakespeare's trending. What else is going on? Love drought. Uh-oh. Okay, this has got to be. Beyonce got her big, pregnant, wobbly ass on a table and in a fucking chair leaning back, risking your life for the good performance of Love Drought. Y'all, you want to say All Night Long is the better song? Okay. They're just talking about the Lemonade album. I you know what? Again, it's Beyonce and Beyonce. Ugh. Oh, here's one. MJ Heger. I read this one this morning. Apparently, this Air Force vet MJ Heger announces a Texas Senate challenge to John Corbin, who's up for re-election in 2020, maybe. She officially joins the Texas Senate race against Republican John Cornyn. Now, here's the funny thing about that. She just ran for Congress in a district in Texas and lost. I'm not sure I get it. Is there no other Democrat in Texas that could... Well, it's pretty hard to become a Democrat senator in Texas these days. I mean, if Beta, whatever his name is, Robert O'Rourke couldn't beat Ted Cruz, although who's not... It's funny because I have a friend who lives in Texas and he's a Republican, and he says the Republicans don't even like Ted Cruz, but they keep putting him back in office. How's he going to beat John Cornyn? And this woman who lost her last seat. Now, she is an Air Force veteran, working mom. Here, I'm not going to do the YouTube video. Democrat MJ Hager. You know what? You know what? Her name might as well be MJ Hager, Air Force veteran, because they will say it every time they mention her name. Oh, fancy that. MJ Hager is an Air Force veteran who is awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor and Purple Heart after being shot down in Afghanistan and battling the Taliban head on. Well, good for... I salute this woman, okay? Now her fight is in Texas. Unseating an entrenched incumbent senator is going to be tough, but I've faced worse odds in my life. Saddle up, Texas. I'm in. Join me. Okay? So she has a great story. Will that translate into becoming the first Democrat at winning a senator in Texas in a long time? I guess we'll find out. It's interesting. I wonder why she lost the congressional seat she just ran for, though. Okay, so there you go. But she has a great story. Like I said, she was shot down in Afghanistan, got herself out, won a very prestigious award. Patrick Peterson, who is that? Anyone? I'm not one for cryptic messages, but Patrick Peterson not only just posted 2 very cryptic IG messages, but his profile picture is no longer him in a Cardinals jersey. Okay, he apparently is a football player. All-pro defensive back, all-pro punt returner. Okay. But he's not in a Cardinals uniform in his Instagram picture. So if you're oh, Monkey just signed off. Well, hello, all you need. If he's not in a Cardinals jersey, he may not be a Cardinal for long. Man, Monkey was on for a long damn time. It's about 3.5, 4 hours. All right, so okay, we don't spend a lot of time on sports on this channel, except for Mike Tyson stories. Boston Bomber. Oh. Bernie Sanders shared his views on whether felons like the Boston Marathon bomber should have a right to vote. Ooh. Bernie. Responding to a question about whether the Boston Marathoner bomber should have his voting rights restored, Bernie Sanders said during CNN's town hall that the right to vote is inherent even for people convicted of sexual violence and terrorism. Let's see. Let's hear it.
People with felony records should be allowed to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support enfranchising people like the Boston Marathon bomber, a convicted terrorist and murderer? Do you think that those convicted of sexual assault should have the opportunity to vote for politicians who could have a direct impact
Bernie's
on
left
women's
eye is kind
rights?
of twitching right now.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ann. And let me just say this. What our campaign is about and what I believe is creating a vibrant democracy. Today, as you may know, we have one of the lowest voter turnouts of any.
Faithless, that's the correct answer. Anything that will get me elected. I don't care if they bombed somebody. I just think that maybe that they should be able to vote. And I just think they should.
Major country on earth. I want to see us have one of the highest voter turnouts. And by the way,
including criminals and people who vote for Democrats, including dead people. We got to have the dead people because I'm almost dead and there's lots of dead people who would vote for me.
What we're seeing is more young people getting involved in the political process.
And more dead people.
But not enough.
And not enough dead people.
And in my view, if young people voted at the same percentage
as dead people
that older people voted in this country, we would transform this nation.
We would transform it for the worse because young people are not very smart and don't know anything. But dead people, they know everything, and I want all the dead people and all the felons and all the criminals voting for me.
But to get to your point, we live in a moment where cowardly Republican governors are trying to suppress the vote.
Suppress the vote of felons who are still in prison. She asked about people still in prison who are creating dead people and raping people. But they should vote too.
And in fact,
and illegal aliens.
Right here, as you may know, in New Hampshire, the legislature and the governor are working hard to make it more difficult for young people to vote.
No, that's a lie. Why are they making it more difficult for young people to vote? No, they're not. That's a lie. Nobody's trying to make it harder for young people to vote. Young people just don't vote.
And to me, that is an incredibly undemocratic, un-American process. And I say to those people, by the way, if you don't have the guts to participate in free and fair elections, you should get another job and get out of politics.
You know who really made it harder for people to vote the last time I ran for president? The Democratic National Committee, because they made sure that all these superdelegates voted for Hillary. They made it harder for people to vote in our own party. Maybe we should fix that first. But then we should let dead people vote in the general election and felons and whoever will vote for me instead of the other guy.
All right, so So here is, and to answer your question, as it happens in my own state of Vermont, from the very first days of our state's history, what our Constitution says is that everybody can vote. That is true. So people in jail can vote. Now here is my view.
Everybody? Really? Even the small children? Even the dead people? Everybody can vote.
If somebody commits a serious crime, sexual assault, murder, they're going to be punished. They may be jailed for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, their whole lives. That's what happens when you commit a serious crime. But I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people. Because once you start chipping away, you say, well, that guy committed a terrible crime, not going to let him vote. Or that person did that, not going to let that person vote.
You're going to let them vote while they're incarcerated, Bernie? That's what she asked you. She didn't ask you if someone who maybe who served their time and got out of jail, she asked you people who are in jail.
Vote. You're running down a slippery slope. So I believe that people who commit crimes, they pay the price. When they got out of jail, I believe they certainly should have the right to vote.
Now he says when they get out of jail.
Even if they are in jail, they're paying their price.
Even if they are in jail, they should vote.
Their inherent American right to participate in our...
Yeah, Bernie. That's good. Well, we'll be hearing about that more today, I'm sure. Dear Bernie, Kamala, and all the other Democratic candidates for president, allowing murderers like the Boston bomber to vote while they're still incarcerated is really, really a bad idea. Sincerely, the rest of us. All right, so that's why that's trending. Apparently, yeah. All right, well, it's an interesting argument. DNC meeting. Okay, just don't be crazy and we're going to win 2020. Beto. Tear down existing border walls. Wait, no, don't. Buttigieg. Late-term abortion is fine. Wait, stop. Bernie. Let the Boston bomber vote. Harris. Totally agree. Seriously? What the fuck? All right, so that's why Boston Bomber is trending. Hey, if you think the Boston Bomber should be allowed to vote from his jail cell, put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't, put any other number you can think of off the top of your head. Here, I'll start. Oh, good Lord, Bernie. Bernie. Okay, that's why the Boston Bombers trending. Jonathan Stewart's trending because he signed a 1-day deal with the Carolina Panthers and then is retiring. I'm not sure why they did that, but why he did that, maybe so he could retire as a member of the Panthers. Amal Clooney, why is she? That's what's his face's wife? What's his name? The beautiful actor dude, George Clooney. Don't know why she's trending though. Amal Clooney goes where few dare. At the Security Council, she calls out Bolton and Pompeo by name, then blasts a Russian diplomat for opposing the International Criminal Court, which could be the venue to try ISIS members who raped and abused her clients. Oh, that's right. She's a human rights lawyer. So apparently why is she blasting Bolton? I don't have time. She's at the UN, and so she's trending. Paul Krugman, because Trump mentioned him this morning. We didn't start the fire. Oh, this is actually a cute one. I'm going to finish on this one if I can find it. The Avengers cast hit some notes on Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire on Jimmy Fallon Tonight last night. I don't know if we can find it anywhere, though. And I wonder if I get a strike for putting Jimmy Fallon on here. Let me see if we can find it. Did anyone put it on the... Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Oh, man, I wanted to see that. Well, I'll tell you what, that'll be the search and destroy mission for everyone for tomorrow. Apparently they sang... Here, let's see if we can find it. I got an idea. I'm going to search, and I'm going to find a way to get in trouble for this anyway. So here we go. Let's see. We didn't start the fire Avengers. Let's see. Endgame Avenger cast sings We Didn't Start the Fire. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but some of the things that I do for you. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. Oh.
Tony Stark, Iron Man, Nick Fury has a plan, big shot.
Oh, I know I'm going down. I'll tell you what, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. So here's what I'm going to do. You can watch this on your own time. It looks really cute, but I got a feeling that is just strike bait, people. Strike bait. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got to call it a day. I'm going to leave that. Do I want to leave that image up there? No, I don't. I don't need to see Mark Ruffalo's big fat face. Hey, Avengers Endgame, did that come out yet? I actually want to go see that. But I haven't seen, what's-her-face, Brie Olsen, Captain Marvel yet. I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. And I'm conflicted because I pretty much know the whole story of Captain Marvel because everyone's talked about it already. But it's almost like, oh, it comes out Friday? Oh, that's too bad. Here's the problem with Friday. Friday, this is a programming note. On Friday, I'm going to be broadcasting live from the Drake Relays. Now, the Drake Relays is a huge track meet in Des Moines, Iowa at Drake University. It's been going on for over 100 years. But the track meet is not really the appeal for people who went to Drake University, like me and many of my friends. We go back to Drake because Drake alumni treat it like homecoming. And on Friday morning, at our favorite little spot called the West End Lounge. They have free beer from 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning because that's just what they do on the Friday of Drake Relays. Big track meet, the people go drink beer in the morning. So I'm going to be doing the Morning Night Live from Drake University and the Drake Relays. Hopefully, I'll be able to see the camera. But anyway, that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to move on. Did I put that link in the chat for Whedon's, here, I'm going to do that again. I didn't hit, here, that's what I did do. There you go. So if you want to watch that video of the Avengers cast singing We Didn't Start the Fire, changing to Avengers lyrics, there it is in the chat. I got to get out of here, folks. I am so happy that you guys come and see me every day. You know we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for people in other parts of the world. I really enjoy doing this, and I hope you had fun today. I know some of you were over at Monkey Stream and came late, but that's why they put these things in video form back on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here. I got to go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.